Jacobus Silver en Suzanne Izel. Hulle sing vir ons kyk na die Here, die beste musiek hierso op 729 Kaapse Kansel. Jy is ingeskakel met Saterag Samesyn met Andre Jacobs hierso op 729 017291657. Dis die nommertjie wat jy vir ons kan WhatsApp kom gesels saam met ons. Dis tyd vir Annie Kollig en wow, absolute amazing guest that I have in the studio here this morning. Jessica Mtsweni, geen net so baie daar vir die listeners. Hulle so aan die ander kant. As jy kan, dan kan jy natuurlik ook inskakel op ons Facebookblad. Dis waar ek en Jessica so lekker chat gaan het rondom haar boeke, en sy's 'n skrywer en sy's ook 'n digital entrepreneur, in Engels sal sê. So jy gaan baie van haar kan hoor. As jy hoe sê hulle, if motivation was a person, if inspiration was a person, hierso, kom luister so 'n bietjie. Now, Jessica Mtsweni is a faith and wellness writer as well as a digital entrepreneur. Originally from Limpopo, and still from Limpopo. She's currently based in Cape Town, though, and is the author of Girl in Progress, Lessons from a Dreamer and an Eternal Optimist, as well as 57-day devotional called Bittersweet, Embracing Grace in Life's Messy In-Betweens. Wow. To her, living a full life means loving God and expressing the love she has for Him through the causes that she serves and the people that she loves. If you asked her what her few of her favorite things are, she'd tell you that it's rusks, running, a good cup of Earl Grey, and spending all of her free time looking for more races to run. Jessica, that's you, eh?
That is me through and through.
Wow, absolutely amazing. Such a pleasure to have you here this morning. Where did it start for you?
Well, okay, so I've always loved literature and writing because when I was back in high school, I started the small poetry club, and we'd meet up in the library. Yeah, but at that time, I actually never thought that, this is actually something I can make a career out of, because, movies and books portray, writers as these armor struggling beams. I know. So I needed to be a little practical. But I think the seed was planted then at that stage, and then it all started blossoming in the classroom, in my classroom, because I was actually a teacher before all of this. Wow. Yes.
You'll never say.
Yeah, I was actually a teacher, and while it was deeply fulfilling and while I enjoyed doing what I do, I realize now, if I'm being honest with myself, I think that I did it because it was at the time what the financial circumstances allowed for. Because so it's an opportunity to teach while you study. So I was like, who can pass up on this? But then in the middle of the journey, I just kind of realized that, I'm not living up to my full potential. And while I love these kids and while I love what I do, I know that there's more that I can do. And
you must have been the most energetic teacher.
But let me just say, kids, should I say this out loud? Can be
kids, like kids.
Yeah, they can be kids. So it was both a challenging and a very rewarding journey, but I knew that I had to leave, that I had to go do something else. And so I started mapping my exit plan, should I say, and so I started studying hospitality at IHT Hotel School.
My language now, my language.
Yeah. Yes, but that wasn't also without challenges of its own, because I had to now figure out, I have to find a way to pay for this private education. And we all know that, this does not come cheap. So I worked really hard. And at the end of the first year, I actually got a bursary that then ended up funding me until my final year.
Awesome. That helped a lot.
Yes, it really did help a lot. But then throughout the internships and throughout the journey, I realized that, so this is not all that I thought it would be. And yes, I have learned a lot. I have met amazing people throughout the journey, but I know that there is something else that I have to do. So then what I did at the end of my final year was I took the business plan, which I had submitted as my final year assignment, and I decided to run with it. So it was my copywriting agency. Yes. Yes, so I took that other leap of faith, and can I just say, from there, it has all been so, so, so rewarding. And so every time I think about it, I think that, oh, okay, no, if I hadn't decided that day in that classroom that, okay, no, I'm just going to take this other leap of faith and see where it takes me, I wouldn't be here. So that moment in itself was the entire catalyst for change.
Wow,
For the
wow, wow.
change.
And you're still going.
And I am still going.
And it's been books
Yes.
after books after books. I mean, this just the names and the titles. Where does it come from? Where does it derive from?
So
Interesting
girl,
titles.
so Girl in Progress. So that's inspired by my my life's journey. I mean, I think that I am a person in progress. I have, been through a lot over the years. I have grown a lot as well. And I think when I was deciding on the title, I thought that, oh no, this is essentially something that is going to that's going to resonate with a lot of other people as well, because they are also essentially people in progress. They are figuring things out as they are going, and they're learning a lot about themselves, and that's why I just
This
decided,
is how it's kind of
yes,
just.
this is me.
And then you just built on that.
And I just built on that. And then bittersweet, I think it comes from the idea that, life can be both a very pleasant and humbling, experiences.
Yes.
It's not always rosy, colored. Things don't always go well, or anything like that. And so that contrast for me just it resonated with me, and I was just like, okay, so this is it, because life in itself is bittersweet for most of us. It's good, it's bad, and then there are the in-betweens as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
What inspires, besides your books, what inspires you daily?
What inspires me, it's people
Is that
and a love of stories. And because I think a lot, not just for when I write, but when I do work for Indelible as well, everything is centered around people. Because essentially people are, the reason why I can write, why I get to do what I do, because they're the one who reads the work. They are the ones who are like, oh no, thank you so much. This is making a difference. And so with that in mind, I know that, even on the days when it feels like, oh dear, I just cannot keep on going, I know that, there is someone out there who's, bargaining on this to learn from it and to be changed by it as well.
the writing was that some of the ways that you've combated your challenges? What was some of is there a low point that you want to mention?
Yes. So throughout the whole journey, I'll say it's the I'm going to start with the the writing and the business, the entrepreneurship part as well. So I have had to learn how to balance work, and life, because in that first year when I started, it was pretty much all just about the work. I neglected, my friendships, but then it got to a point where you realize that, oh dear, I don't really have anyone.
Actually alone.
Yeah, and so I really had to be so I learned that you really have to be, intentional, about the relationships that you build, regardless of how busy you are, because at the end of the day, when you die, so to say, it's not the work that's going to mourn you. It's your people, it's your friends, your family. And so I mean, it still is a bit of a struggle, but I think I'm more I'm in a place where I prioritize that more. And then I'll say there's also the whole an identity thing, because so I think that we garner our identities from our lived life experiences from childhood.
Yes.
Okay, and that eventually shapes the way in which
think.
how we think and how we see the world and where we are going. And so I'm going to start to say, while I love my parents and while I respect them, because I mean, at the end of the day, I think that the values that I have because of them. I also have to acknowledge that they are human. and thus also deeply flawed. And so I think that having watched my own father, battle with alcoholism, and my mom also battling with her, own mental health issues, had me thinking a lot of this time, or in this mindset of, oh, okay, so this is probably just the life that I am destined to as well. This is probably also where I am going to, end up.
Yes.
But then I started to look into the messages that I send out to my readers and what I write about, and that's what actually kept me anchored to the truth that, yes, so we come from where we come from, and we come from the circumstances where we come from, but ultimately, at the end of the day, we are the ones that get to choose who we become and where we are going. At some point, we have to also decide that, okay, no, I have to stop blaming the caregivers or my parents or the past for, not being able to do things, because doing that, it only it leaves you stuck like in this cycle of resentment and bitterness, and that then stops you from accessing all the divine inner light. So I mean, I think I could have just sat back and resigned myself to the fact that, oh, well, this is where I come from, so I'm not going to amount to much.
Yes.
But I decided then that this fire, this passion for people and for what I do is the very thing that is going to fuel me to rewrite my story. And I think I definitely did that, and I did it well. I'm still writing my story, but I think I have made a lot of progress, in terms of my way, of thinking a couple of years back to where I am now.
That's amazing. What a journey.
It has been,
and still is, right?
And still is, yes.
Yeah.
Which I think then reinforces the idea that, we are people in progress. I am a girl in progress, and the world itself is a place in progress as well.
The world itself, eh?
Yeah.
Everything. Wow. And there's been highlights, eh? As you've journeyed through. Yeah, you want to mention some of that?
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Well, I think the first one for me is definitely the day I published Girl in Progress. I think for like the first week and a couple of months after that, it was like an oh my word moment. I actually did this because, listen, writing a book is a roller coaster of a ride. There's like the sleepless nights and the multiple revisions that it has to go through. And sometimes I don't think like you yourself, the person in that like position, I don't think you realize, how much, went into that. But when you finally sit down, when it's all done and dusted, you realize that, wow, I did this. I actually did this.
Best feeling in the
Yes,
world.
the best feeling in the world. And it was also the day I also decided that, okay, I am also going to leave this hospitality thing, which I thought that I loved.
Yeah.
And, just venture out on a path of, my own, because that was also
Creativity
another.
is-
Yes,
Oh. Yeah.
I just told myself all I need is a laptop, an internet connection, and a heart full of passion and faith. And look where it's gotten
And faith.
me now.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Talking about faith, I mean, wow, it's been faith that really carried you through.
It has.
What was the role that God played in your new journey?
I think for me the main part was his word, kept me going through the times where I felt, or the days where I thought, but oh my word, this is just pointless. Let me just be realistic now and, go do something normal, like a normal 8 to 5 or something, and just stop being so ambitious. So I think that, the scriptures that reminded me that, all of us have a purpose, and there's this path, that we're on. That's what, just kept me trudging forward, reminding me that, you know what, God doesn't plant seeds in our hearts for them, you know what, to wither and die. The fact that that dream, that hope, that passion is there is, you know what, because He wants you to actually go through and carry it out.
Wow. As jy sopas ingeskakel het, ek gesels met Jessica Mtsweni, wow, digital entrepreneur and author en yes, julle creative op haar eie. Ja, gesels saam met haar en ja, as jy ingeskakel is, kan jy op ons Facebook bladsy gaan kuier daarso. Dis waar ons tans gesels. Dis 10 quarter to 11 op die oomblik. En ja, ek het nog so 'n paar vragies wat ek vir haar wil vra voor ons opreek. I can't believe how time is going so quickly. Yeah, it always flies. Time flies when you're having fun. Before I get to what would you tell a young Jessica, how do you deal with, because I'm sure with all your creativity, with your books, with your business, there's been challenges. There's also some negativity that you sometimes get from outside. You bit of an influence as well. How do you handle that?
You know, so someone I look up to once said that people who are doing better than you are never going to, are the ones who aren't going to, you know, judge you harshly. So, and I don't want this to sound weird or somehow, but you know, when someone comes along, someone who I necessarily wouldn't take advice from, because look at the choices you made.
Fair enough.
I just kind of drown it out, because I think, you know, you have to learn to selectively filter out the comments of the naysayers. Like, okay, sometimes granted, someone will say something that's negative, but not so negative, because it makes you look at things in a different way. But yeah, that's really the main thing. And I also tell myself that, you know, for every 10 or 20 people that say, oh no, just stop what you're doing, this is not good, I know that there is one or two other people who are going to reach out and say, listen here, thank you for your online presence. Thank you for your words. Thank you for everything that you share, because it's really helping me see things in a different light. Yes. And so I think that, you know, if you can make a difference in just one person's life, as cliche as it may sound, it's really a big thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Goal achieved.
Exactly. Wow. Yes. Yeah. You don't have to reach millions of people. It's those 1 or 2 or 3 people that you know
that you've reached.
Yes.
Powerful stuff. Oh my goodness. Sure. And there's so much more to listen to, of course, in this in this short time. Jessica, if you've been, it's been such a exciting journey, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's been a roller coaster ride, I'm sure.
Yeah.
With business and writing and alles. How does can you paint us a picture a little bit about what the future looks like? What 2024 maybe? Maybe let's start immediate. Yeah, just a glimpse. Don't share or don't overshare. Just.
Well, I definitely still want to write more books, because I think that as I am going through life, there's a lot that I am learning, and all of that insight and the wisdom, I believe that is something worth sharing. And people who follow me, they also know that that grief is something that I'm actually is an emotion that I'm very passionate about, but not just grief in terms of like loss, but you know, grief in terms of, you know, the missed opportunities, the friendships that we lose and everything.
Yes,
so that's something that that I write a lot about, and maybe there might be a project in the pipelines revolving around that, because I think that us as people, it's very important that we learn to understand, you know, grief in the various forms that it comes in, because ultimately it's how we learn to navigate all the highs and lows and the bumps of life.
That is very interesting, looking at grief from a
Yes.
completely different angle.
Yes,
Wow.
definitely.
A young Jessica is listening right now.
Yeah.
Been there where you were. What would you tell that young girl today with a big dream?
You know, I would tell her, you're going to like the things that you like, and then you're not going to like the things that you thought that you liked. And, that's okay. You don't have to beat yourself up about it, because I know that young Jessica thought that, okay, no, if I like this, then this is how the path or the trajectory is supposed, to turn out. But you must remember that you are a person in progress. You are, you're changing as life changes as well. And so you sometimes need to learn to adapt, and move to the rhythm of the waves, so to say. And also I want to tell her, no, you know what, you can dream as boldly and as audaciously as you want to, because you are capable, you are smart, you are brilliant, and you have, so much potential resting there in that heart of yours. And no one or anything should get to tell you that, okay, no, this is what you can do or you can't do. The moment you decide that you want to do something, you go out there and you work hard for it. So keep dreaming and keep going and keep going and keep going, because you can do it.
Awesomeness. You can do it. Young girl, you can do it. You've heard it straight out of Jessica's mouth here right this morning. Jessica, how do people contact us? Because I'm sure everybody's excited to, I want to get that book. I want to hear this girl more. Definitely. How do they go about it?
Okay, so the books are available to purchase on Take-A-Lot and Amazon. And then obviously, I am also on Instagram and Facebook, and then you can also reach out to me on Instagram and Facebook under my name, Jessica_Mtweni, and my website, jessicamtweni.online.
Fantastic. I'm going to give a little hint to someone, and we're going to see if we can have that person win one of these books, actually.
Absolutely.
Let's do that. The WhatsApp number 0817291657. Dis waar jy vir ons kan WhatsApp op. En ek sien jy staan 'n kans om een van hy boekies te wen. Wie sê vir my vanoggend 'n baie maklike vraag, met wie gesels ek vandag? Met wie gesels ek? That's maklik genoeg, Ron en Jessica. That's easy enough, right? Who are we chatting to this morning? And you stand a chance of winning that. Just WhatsApp me on 081 0817291657 en jy kan daai boekie van. Ons onderhoud is nou klaar, maar jy kan nog steeds vir ons WhatsApp en ons gaan vir jou laat weet wie die gelukkige wenner is net so voor 12:00. Daar sê Jessica, it's been a pleasure having you in studio.
Thank you for having me. This was the highlight of my Saturday.
Fantasties. Dit is lekker om jou oggend so te begin en nou all the best with the writing and the business and alles.
Thank you.
All the creativity that's still going to flower up and blossom from there. But have an awesome day further.
Thank you so much, Andre. Have a lovely weekend.
Excellent. Susan, sing nog vir ons die laaste gedeelte. En dan is dit tyd vir ons onderhoud met die NPO Resilient Kids. Gaan baie interessant wees.